Isn't he wonderful?
Welcome to MojoPlays. Today we're looking at 10 hidden secrets in Red Dead Redemption 2. We bet you didn't expect to see a bear in there. For this list, we'll be focusing on some of the lesser known or more uncommon Easter eggs, which is why we're not including the UFO encounters or the ghost train.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
ManBearPig. Once you're exploring Roanoke Ridge and the other parts of the eastern New Hanover, you can find this exceptionally sinister house occupied by none other than ManBearPig, called the Man-Made Mutant in-game. Fans of South Park will immediately recognize Al Gore's nemesis when they climb through the second-story window. Luckily, ManBearPig here is a taxidermy creation, though it's clear the taxidermist working on it had high hopes for his monstrous amalgamation, which, unlike the original ManBearPig, also has wings. Luckily, it's not going to attack you and you will not have to fight it. Miles away in Big Valley, you can find another out-of-place piece of taxidermy, a stuffed silverback gorilla in a crate. Donkey Lady. This strange skeleton is actually a very obtuse reference to a glitch from the first game. You'll only understand it on sight if you have an intimate knowledge of the bugs and glitches in that game, so it's no surprise that it baffled a lot of players. Upon riding into New Austin as John during the epilogue, if you decide to explore some of the first game's major regions, you'll probably find this skeleton still attached to a piece of mill apparatus. It's the body of a woman with the head of a donkey, and it seems she died while working the mill in place of having an actual donkey do it. If you want to pay your respects to the Donkey Lady, you can find her in Cola Springs. Giant snake. You'll often run into snakes in Red Dead 2, with your horse getting startled at the sight of them and threatening to buck you. But this particular snake is distinct from all the others, and some theories suggest it's actually a reference to Ka, the enormous constrictor snake in the Jungle Book. Whether it is or not, we don't know for sure, but it's absolutely huge and hiding in a tree deep in Scarlet Meadows, near the O in Lemony. It's also unfortunately already dead by the time you find it, which is a sad fate for such an impressive creature. Another popular theory about the snake is that it's a reference to the real-life town of Helltown, Ohio, which was allegedly affected by a curse and stalked by a giant snake, the Peninsula Python. The nearby abandoned town of Pleasance is thought to be based on this. Gertrude Braithwaite. One of the creepiest Easter eggs in the game, Gertrude is locked in an outhouse on the Braithwaite estate and will holler at Arthur as he walks past. It seems that she was born with some kind of disability and, with the Braithwaites being evil, was locked in the outhouse by the family on purpose. To make the situation even darker, if you later return to the outhouse as John, he'll make a grisly discovery. Eventually, people stop tending to Gertrude, and she's starved out there. If you dare to peer through the cracks, you'll see her body. And the Greys have a family secret of their own hiding in Caliga Hall, where one of them will end their own life after finding out they're descended from a British spy. Mountain Monk.
What are you doing? You okay there?
You don't have much reason to explore around the Grizzlies East as you do the Grizzlies West, but if you do ignore this part of the mountain range, you'll miss out on this very interesting Easter egg. Located almost directly between O'Cree's Run and Fort Wallace, this meditating monk will be found overlooking the countryside.
Don't fall off. Boo! Hello.
He won't talk to you because he's too busy trying to find inner peace, but you can enjoy the scenery with him and hope Arthur is able to come to some peace of his own. If you're doing a dishonorable run, however, kicking the monk from the cliff will cause your honor meter to take a massive hit. Statues. Head northeast from Baku's station until you're roughly halfway between Bacchus and the Big Eye in Amberino. You'll eventually come across a cave, inside which you'll find a circle of 7 stone statues on plinths. They're facing an 8th statue, that of a harpy. To solve the puzzle, you need to look at how many fingers each statue is holding up, then press their buttons in the correct order. The harpy statue will open, and you'll get 3 gold bars for your trouble. Though players have solved the puzzle, they haven't solved the mystery. Nobody knows what the statues are a reference to, or what they really mean. And no, they're not a Doctor Who reference, they're not angels, and they don't move around when you're not looking. Devil's Cave. This might be the second scariest cave in the game, after the one in which you do the absolutely awful white cougar hunt. Thankfully, there's no teleporting cat waiting for you here, only the devil himself, and we know which one we'd rather encounter. If you too want to meet Lucifer, head to a hidden tunnel near Pronghorn Ranch in West Elizabeth. He's dressed all in red and has styled his hair and beard so that he certainly looks devilish, but talking to him reveals he's anything but. He's a simple hermit who just wants to be left alone.
Is that so bad? Wanting solitude? Wanting loneliness? Wanting anything but you?
Then again, the devil is a famous trickster, so who knows what to believe. Strange Man's Cabin. As one of the first game's biggest mysteries, of course the Strange Man was going to make some kind of appearance in the follow-up. In rural Lemony, Arthur can find this seemingly abandoned cabin hosting a partially completed painting on an easel. Return years later as John, and the painting will eventually have completed itself. It's the Strange Man himself, and is presumably a spooky self-portrait. Scarier still, the Strange Man will appear in the mirror behind John, but if you turn around, he's gone. Maybe this explains why he seems to know so much about the Vanderlands in the first game, since they kept showing up at his house and disturbing his painting. Or the in-game theories that he's actually the Grim Reaper could be correct. Death does follow the gang everywhere after all. Marko Dragic's robot.
My son lives!
What is it?
It is life itself.
If you're completing all the Stranger missions, which we're sure you are, you'll eventually encounter inventor Marko Dragic in Saint Denis. Dragic is based on famed 20th century genius Nikola Tesla, and eventually explains to Arthur that he believes he's able to create artificial intelligence. You'll help him bring his robotic son to life during a later mission parodying Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, but Dragic himself will perish.
Isn't he wonderful?
If you go back to his lab to find his body later on, and then journey all the way back to Coulter, you can find the robot isolated on a mountaintop. It laments the loss of its father, making it far more empathetic than Frankenstein's monster ever was. The Vampire of Saint Denis.
So, you found me.
If we just saw a reference to Frankenstein, here's a much more obvious one to Dracula. Red Dead 2 is set in the 1890s, roughly the same time that Bram Stoker was writing his magnum opus, so it makes perfect sense that Rockstar would put a vampire in their game. And no, this isn't just another serial killer, it really is a vampire.
What, you're a vampire?
I have been called many names over the centuries. Now go, or I'll feed on you too.
To find it, you must find 5 pieces of ominous graffiti in the city and inspect them. This gives you the vampire's whereabouts. Head there at midnight, and you find him in the middle of killing his final victim. Fans of classic horror will immediately recognize him because Rockstar modeled his appearance and costume on Nosferatu from the 1922 silent film.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, there's more where that came from.